It's 2 a.m. Eastern Time. I'm Ron Burgundy, and tonight's top story is America. She's the greatest country in the world. For starters, we kick butt.
I just got three things to say. God bless our troops. God bless America. And gentlemen, start your I'm so proud of the Americans.
Hello.
Woo! Yes.
Get a little USA chant going.
That should get you fired up on a Thursday. Right here, Fresh Cuts Podcast. I'll be your host today. Wes Hood, got Cody right beside me. We're gonna do something new today. We're gonna do a little Olympics and we're gonna do a little college basketball. But first, want to go ahead and mention to you about the NCAA board that we have up here. $100 a square. You've got a chance to get into it. And all you have to do for one entry is to like the podcast on any of the platforms. For two entries, you can share the podcast on any of the platforms. Or for another two entries, if you just subscribe to our YouTube page, we'll get you entered in if you're drawn to the $100 March Madness pool. So there you go. So Cody came to me this week. Cody was, remember I told you he got fired up when the women's hockey scored that goal. And we've just been all about the hockey and everything. And Cody thought it'd be a good idea to go through our top 5 Olympic moments, whether it be summer or winter, whatever it may be. So since it was your idea, Cody, I think you should probably kick it off with your number 5, huh?
Yeah. You got your list too. Weston's got his own list.
Yeah.
So we're going to go back and forth on this.
Hey, you let us know who's got the best list.
Yeah, that's right. Please comment below who's got the better list for USA Olympic moments, Olympic teams. Number 5, I am starting off with a woman's swimmer. This is Katie Ledecky. In 2024, the Paris Olympics, she became the most decorated U.S. female ever, and with 14 total medals. So that's where I'm starting out with number 5, Katie Ledecky, a phenomenal swimmer. What about you, Wes? Who's your number 5?
Can't argue with that. You can tell Cody and I sit around because I'm going with a swimmer as well. However, he's going to be tough to argue with this one. I'm going Michael Phelps in 2008 Beijing.
Number 5?
So he had, all this pressure on him, and he went 8 for 8. I mean, all you have to do is a bad turn or this, that, and the other, and he was able to live up to the pressure. He had already competed in the Olympics before, and they just knew he was going to go. So that's my number 5. Where are you going number 4, Cody?
Number 4 is the team that we just saw, the 2026 men's national hockey team, defeating the Big Drought, beating Canada in overtime. I know some people might have it a little bit low on the list, but I think they're number 4. I got some guys. I got other people in front of them, but what a phenomenal win!
Yeah, this just brings a big smile to my face because y'all may not believe us, but we did not talk about this at all.
No,
so
not
number
at all.
4, I have the 2026 hockey team. The only difference I have with Cody is I'm putting the women in there. I'm sure you probably have met that too. The men did a great job, but one thing I would notice, it was on the video earlier, that move that young lady put, that was the best play in the Olympics probably. But the way it just is kind of uniting things, and these young men, and the poor fella that lost his life, Gaudreau, a year ago or so. So great moment. I have them number 4. Where are you at number 3, Cody?
Number 3, I'm going West's number 5, which is Michael Phelps. I think he's got to be top 3. He's the most decorated men's. I mean, what a dominant performance. I've never seen a swimmer since Michael Phelps, before or after he's one of a kind. He's the best of the best.
Yeah, I can't argue with that. Maybe I did have him a little low. I don't know. We shall see. Number 3, I have the 1992 Dream Team in Barcelona. And I'm going to tell you why. And this is probably why we're a little different here. Being my age, when you saw that and you were like, oh, okay, we're way better than everybody. I actually was more into NBA basketball as a kid than I am with football and baseball, which, I love both of those a little bit more now. But that squad just kind of set it off. And then Michael Jordan's rise being from Wilmington. So that is my number 3. It changed basketball internationally and domestically. That's my number 3. Where are you going, number 2?
Number 2, I'm picking up right where you left off, the Dream Team, number 2. It's crazy how similar we are, but we did not discuss this at all. But one thing you left out is that they had college players before.
Yeah.
And before that, the Russians were beating our college players. And so that's when the United States and the Olympics and the NBA all got together and said, well, if these other countries are having their pro players play, then let's open the floodgates. And you're talking about Jordan Pippen, Magic, Bird, Stockton, Malone, David Robinson, Charles Barkley. It just goes on. And it was just, it's one of the most memorable Olympics that you can ever, just that many stars, that many Hall of Famers. That's why it's number 2 on my list.
Yeah. Yep. I can't disagree. Again, right there with you. I bet you Cody doesn't have this one. My number 2 is Rulon Gardner over Alexander Karelin. Okay. This, I wrestled in high school. This happened in 2000. It was very motivating. Alexander Karelin didn't lose in 13 years. His overall record was 887-2. Okay. He won the 88, 92, 96 Olympics, and he gave up, what does it say here? 0 points in 6 years. Nobody took him down. He didn't slip on the mat. He didn't lose for 13 total years. Okay, he came out. He was a total unit. He could have played defensive end. And some old corn-fed boy from the United States, Rulon Gardner, beat his ass 5-0. I know he was a little long in the tooth, but if you're a young man wrestling, that gets you fired up. And that was a huge upset. Arguably one of the biggest. That is where I have my number 2. Cody? Dun, dun, dun. I guess.
Number 1. You know it was number 1.
Yeah.
And it better be number 1 on your list, too. And it better be number 1 on your list out there, too. The Miracle on Ice.
Yeah.
It has to be. Beating the Soviets. You can't. At that time, a bunch of college kids, not even the pros. This team right here that we just showed, these are pro all-star NHL players.
Yeah.
You're talking about a bunch of college kids that are going against the Soviets and having literally no chance. I know Wes is going to go into a little bit more into it, but it has to be number 1, Miracle on Ice.
Yep, 100%. I know it wasn't the gold medal match, but Russia, they just breed those kids on hockey, and they grew up with it. They won 16-0. 8-1. Then they had 6-4, but that was against Canada, who we know is a very strong team. They had 6, and then we beat them 4-3 with a bunch of guys that are younger than Cody. So super impressive. 1980, Lake Placid, Miracle on Ice. There you go. Cody, did you have an honorable mention that you maybe felt bad about leaving off?
I am a big basketball fan, and I like the what they call the Redeem team.
Yeah.
With D. Wade, Kobe Bryant, and LeBron James. Before that, you had teams like Spain and Argentina win the gold medal before that. Yeah. And so we really didn't have an identity, but it was Kobe, LeBron, D. Wade all getting together, and I really enjoyed that team. But, like I said, growing up, it was really one of my favorite moments. What about yourself?
Oh, yeah. I never forget Kobe blowing up Pau Gasol there. Rest in peace, my friend. Actually, I tell you what, I felt bad about leaving her off here, and this one just sticks out in my head. Kerry Strug. Hit that vault with a busted ankle, got the gold, and we ended up getting the team gold, and just that was cool. That was the 96 Atlanta Olympics. That was pretty much I remember Barcelona. I was really young, but '96, I was like, okay, I'm into sports, and that was my honorable mention. So, hope you guys like the list there. Maybe comment who did we miss? There's a lot of good ones. You got Jesse Owens and
Simone Biles.
There was a lot to choose from. So let us know what you think. We're going to transition right into college basketball. And Cody and I wanted to do a little list, kind of like what we did during the football season, where we want to do we'll kind of call it power rankings, but this isn't necessarily set in stone for like today. This is who you need to look out for going into the conference tournament and March Madness. So we'll give you our reasoning for this list, and again, you can contradict it as you want. Cody, you want me to start this time?
Yeah, you start.
All right, we're going to start going from 10 down, and I'm going to go with Michigan State at number 10. They play good defense. They've got a grizzled coach. I don't think they have a chance to win the national championship, but I think that they get into the Sweet 16 like they normally do, and they play in a tough conference, and they're starting to get their identity just a little bit. I'm going Michigan State, number 10. Where are you at, Cody?
Well, some people out there are going to call me a homer for this one, but I'm going UNC at 10. I think once they get Caleb Wilson back, going into March Madness, you're looking at a team that will be fired up to get their best player back, and everybody else is playing really good right now. We just saw Seth Trimble West go for 30 against Louisville, and also one half of Fresh Cuts podcast was live in the building too. But I think Carolina will be once you get star player back, Caleb Wilson, Henry Vasar, Seth Trimble, be looking to hit their stride going into the March Madness tournament.
Yeah, I don't hate that pick, Cody. I am just worried about that risk. I'm a little pessimistic, but I hope he gets back. I love Carolina there. Number 9, I'm going to go. This is a stretch, I know, but I'm going to go with Arkansas. And normally I don't go with freshman point guards, but that Acuff, he is a stud. They're getting on just a little bit of a roll. I know they lost to Alabama a couple weeks ago. They scored 115 points and lost, but they score points, and I think they're going to tear through the SEC. They may not win it, but I really like Arkansas here at 9.
For 9 for me is the Alabama Crimson Tide.
Yeah, so that's who beat them when they scored 115.
Yeah, I mean. Not trying to go ahead, but I do really like Arkansas too. Alabama's just such a high-scoring team, and with any type of high-scoring team, they're either going to be super hot or they're going to be super cold. Anything like that. But they got a guard in Phylon who is just unreal. He's averaging around 21, 22 points a game right now. And this is just a high-scoring team. And if this team gets hot in 2 games, I can see them easily in the Sweet 16.
Yeah, I can't argue with that for sure. I like Alabama. If we were going to do an honorable mention, Alabama was one of my 2 that was there, but they just missed it for me. Going to number 8, I've got UVA here. I know this isn't a sexy pick. I like what Virginia's doing. They can score. They've scored 90 points a few times this year. That's very unlike them. They blew the doors off of NC State the other night. And I do not think they're going to beat Duke this weekend, but I was telling Cody earlier I would have liked to make this pick after that game, but I want to see where they're at in that game. And if they keep it within 5, I think Virginia might make a little bit of a splash this year. Cody?
With my number 8, I'm going with Iowa State Cyclones. Because I tell you what, Iowa State's a great team. They got all the seniors, the veteran leadership that you need, good head coach. It's just that the one thing I don't have them so much higher because they're ranked 4th in the nation right now, and I got them number 8. You're thinking, man, that dude's crazy. They play really good at home. They just a couple weeks ago they beat Kansas and beat the brakes off them at home, but they're not so good on the road.
Yeah.
And you're not going to be playing at home in your home building in March Madness. You're going to play in some tough environments where you might play a Duke in the second round or something like that, or in the Sweet 16, where Duke might have more fans than you. And so that's why it don't quite, it got them so high. But Iowa State is still a good team. Look out for them.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I do like that take, though, because of how we're formatting this, where it's kind of going into conference play and March Madness. And that is a big deal. Home field, some guys can't play on the road. So that's definitely something to look at. Number 7, I kind of did what Cody did here, and I've got Houston. And I'll tell you, really, I don't have – this is kind of one of those just shot in the dark things. Houston just tends to let us down when it gets time to really start playing. They're kind of like Gonzaga. They're going to win 20 of their first 22 games or something like that. And I think that loss last week has kind of slowed them down just a little bit, and that's why I've got them dropped. I know they're ranked number 5 overall in the AP poll, but I just don't see it. And I think whenever the rubber meets the road, I think they're going to start struggling just a little bit. I got Houston at number 7.
Number 7 is, for me, is one also on your list, is Arkansas for me. Nobody's really talking about them right now. They, like I said, they just lost to Alabama a couple weeks ago. But I think that Calipari has a team that can go deep in the tournament. Whenever you have so much talent like this, it either doesn't show up at all, they lose in the first round, or they're going all the way to the Elite Eight. It's just with that much talent, you can win it all. And Darius Acuff Jr. is the best point guard in the country. And we all know that we've seen guys. Wes, you ever heard of a guy named Kemba Walker? Yeah, he took a UConn team all the way to the national championship. And at this time that year when Kemba was playing, nobody was talking about UConn. And Kemba Walker showed up in the Big East tournament.
Right?
They showed, yeah, that's right. They showed up in the Big East tournament, won the Big East, and ran all the way through March Madness and won national championship. If you got the best point guard in the country, it can take you far.
Yeah, great comparison there, Cody. I definitely agree. The thing about Arkansas is some teams, whenever they're having a bad night, they score 60. When Arkansas is having a bad night, they score in the high 70s or in the low 80s there. So I like that pick. Obviously, I had them at number 9. I'm going to go number 6, piggybacking off of Cody here with Iowa State. I had them a little bit higher just because this is the old man in me. They play pretty good defense, and they can swallow you up. Cody mentioned earlier, the thing that scares me with them, and that's why I have them down just a little bit, is that road record. And it is quite present. I think they've got 4 losses. I think 3 are on the road. Is that right? Something in there? So I have Iowa State. I like it. Nice kind of a veteran team. They play in a really tough conference. So whenever they get into the NCAA tournament, they're not going to be surprised by a Duke or an Arizona or something like that. So I like Iowa State. I've got them down just a little bit to 6, but that's my number 6, Iowa State.
Number 6 for me is going to probably shock a lot of people. This team's probably not even on nowhere near West's top 10. But number 6 for me is the Kansas Jayhawks. I think they have a really talented team. This team, we have seen them beat Arizona. We have seen them almost beat Duke and almost beat North Carolina. And they have the number 1 toughest schedule in the country. And whenever you're that type of battle tested, you will be ready for March Madness against any team. Darren Peterson is still a phenomenal guy. I know we just talked about last week of him being, up and down. Is he really the guy? Does he really care about his team? Is he just looking at the NBA? But they still got dudes on this team. It's still a team that can beat anybody. Michigan, Duke, Arizona, they can beat anybody. And if they get on a hot streak in a tournament, I can see them making the Elite Eight.
Yeah. They are talented. I don't believe. They're already starting to talk about it on the big networks about his desire and stuff like that, and I think that kind of creeps in. But I hope I'm wrong. I hope Kansas does well. You always want those blue bloods to do. In my opinion, I like when the blue bloods do well. It's better for college basketball. Nice number 6 there. I'm going to go number 5, Arizona. All right. Again, pulling them back just a little bit. I know they had a really nice win against Houston, but I'm chalking this one kind of back up to Houston. How many times has Arizona done this where they do really, really well? They may make the Final Four, but, I have them number 5, so I definitely think that they'll make the Elite 8. But I just don't think they're as good as some of these teams that I have above them, just because they seem to fade whenever they get to better competition. Again, I know they played a really good game against Houston, but whenever they got beat by Kansas, they didn't even have Peterson. So that kind of scares me. And was that in Arizona? That was in Arizona.
No, it was in Kansas.
It was in Kansas. Okay, excuse me.
Yeah, it was in Kansas.
So that's why, again, I know that seems like shade. Oh, my goodness, they're number 2. I got them down to number 5. It's not that big of a deal. So I've got Arizona at 5. Cody, tell me why I'm wrong.
Oh, well, I mean, I'm trying. You'll see in the future.
Okay.
And I'll mention.
Okay.
I'll just go straight to my number 5. I got the UConn Huskies. I know he might have UConn number 1. I'm not sure, but I got UConn.
That's Cody throwing shade.
I got UConn number 5. Yes, they had a big win last night against St. John's, and they played phenomenally. St. John's couldn't throw it in the ocean if they were standing in the ocean. If they were standing on a cruise ship, they couldn't throw it in the ocean.
They got 40.
Last night. Yeah, 40 and 40 minutes. My goodness, I could do that. Me and you.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, that's right. You got 40 minutes and you only scored 40 points. But I still thought I still go back to UConn. They lost to Creighton just the other week ago. Creighton's not a good team at all. This was at home against St. John's. I kind of put St. John's UConn in the same boat as an Iowa State. Really good at home, a little shaky on the road. They got good talent. Of course, they got one of the best head coaches in the country. It's just that I don't think they have that one guy like a Cameron Boozer or a Caleb Wilson or Darren Peterson or Darius Acuff Jr. that can go off for 25, 30 points and just get them out of that tough game. And so that's why I have them at 5.
Yeah, no, I like that call. I don't have them at number 1, but I do have them at number 4. And the reason being, a lot of what Cody said, I am scared of the road record, whatever, but it's kind of like they're just tried and true, and they do play good defense. So they're a little bit spotty. I would like to see them polish that up just a little bit. Good coach. Not necessarily a veteran team, but not a super young team. You'll hear me go with that. I think the older teams do a little bit better. Again, older teams are teams that average 20 years old now. So that's not necessarily an old team. So I'll piggyback off a lot of what Cody said. Obviously, 4 and 5 isn't that off. So I've got UConn at number 4.
My number 4 is going to give me some shade. And Corey and Chris, one of my clients, is going to come at me pretty hard right now. Number 4 is currently the number 1 team in the country, and that's the Duke Blue Devils. The thing about Duke, I'm not going to take nothing away from that Michigan win. That was a huge win. They played their butts off. But I think the ACC hurts Duke. I know Wes thinks the ACC is a little bit higher this year, and I do believe that too.
Higher than last year.
Higher than last year, and I completely agree with that statement. But it's still one of the weakest conferences. It's not compared to the Big Ten or the Big 12. Those two conferences are the super conferences.
Is it better than the SEC?
Yes, it is.
ACC is better than SEC.
Yes,
okay.
I agree. Because you saw you got teams like Louisville that beat Kentucky. You got Carolina you got Duke that beat Florida. You got Carolina beat Kentucky. There was a lot of teams that beat some other and the SEC. You got teams like Vanderbilt out there and like Tennessee. they're not really and seem like they're proving at all. They just seem like they're kind of backsliding a little bit. But I got Duke right here. They're at 4, so I think they're going to be Final Four. If you're in my 4, you're probably my Final Four whenever I fill out my bracket. So don't come at me like he's a homer, he's a Carolina fan. But I just don't think they're that top, that top 3. They're not in my top 3 because I still think that they really haven't like gelled. Like you got Cameron Boozer, he's gonna get his 22, 25, but I just don't see really. If you go, let me say this: if Duke goes against a really hot team like an Iowa State, or you get a really hot Arkansas or Kansas team, I think trading 2s with Cameron Boozer and their 3s of Darius Acuff or Darren Peterson can get you in trouble. Sorry it took so long.
No. I whenever you do something like that, you definitely got to explain it. You don't want it. Not that we have any haters, but that's definitely a bold point, just like my Arizona take. So you'll have that sometimes. All right. And I'm sure I'm going to get a little something for this, but I have a feeling Cody might, because he hasn't mentioned them yet, but I could be wrong. But I've got Florida at number 3. I hate to say it. They just beat my Longhorns last night by 7, but that's pretty much the closest game that they've had. Let's see. They beat Ole Miss by 20. They beat South Carolina by 15. They beat Kentucky by 10. And then Georgia, who was, I think, a top 5 scoring team, they beat them by 20, A&M by 20, and then Alabama, Cody's team, and in my honorable mentions, they beat them by 23 points and scored 100. They've got 6 losses. That's the part I don't love, but they started out really slow. But right now, I mean, that's what you want. You want somebody that's really hot going into the tournament. So that's a little bit of a stretch, I know. And they lost a lot of players. They had some transfers. They got a couple of guys playing in the NBA now, but they've got a good coach. They've been there, kind of like the UConn thing. They've been there. And so that's why I have them at number 3, a little bit high. I think they're ranked number 6. So what do you think, Cody? Where's your number 3 at? We're starting to get to the nitty gritty.
I am right there with you.
Oh,
this is no joke. This is no joke. I can show Wes here.
I figured it was coming.
I got Florida number 3 too. This is I'm going to be very short with this one because Weston already said all the great points. This is a team that's been there, done that. This team has a lot of those guys that were on that national championship team last year. They got the size, dude. Their small forward at the 3 position is starting at like 6'10", and it goes 6'10", 6'11", 7 foot.
Yeah.
I mean, that is hard. It's hard to even get a rebound. It's hard to defend that. Right now, they got a shooting guard named Xavier Lee. He just makes every 3 for some reason. He looks like an Asian JJ Redick. I mean, he's just unreal out there. And so that's why I have Florida number 3.
Yeah, well, that's cool. Like I said, Cody and I did not discuss this. That's one thing we like to do is just kind of keep it candid. I'm sure you're starting to pick up on what the final 2 are going to be. I've got Duke at number 2 here. I know that they beat Michigan last week. That was a great win. Neutral site. Yeah, they played in D.C. Duke gets half of their players from I-95. So, and I'm not a Duke hater. I love Duke. I hope they do really well. They absolutely smoked Notre Dame last night or 2 nights ago. I think Cameron Boozer may be one of the best players. We've mentioned that in our power rankings. He might be the best player. If those guys can gel, they're starting to play pretty good defense. I think they're in the top 5 in defense now. If they can just figure out a way to consistently hit 3s, I think they're going to be super dangerous. Like Cody, I have them going to the Final Four. And yes, I don't necessarily take that Michigan win like they're just, head and shoulders above everybody else. So Cody, I got Duke at number 2.
My number 2 team is most likely Wes's number 1 team, so not too far off.
Oh, my goodness.
But I got the Michigan Wolverines number 2. Wes is doing the math right now. He's trying to figure out who my number 1 team is right now. But I got Michigan number 2. The reason I don't have them number 1 is because they don't have that X factor. It's a great team. That's why they're number 2. They're a great team. But whenever it gets nitty-gritty, you need to have that X factor. You need to have somebody when it's 3 minutes left and it's tied up and it's back and forth. You need to have somebody that's going to hit those shots, hit those free throws. I don't think they have that guy. You saw how Duke was just crushing them on defense. They couldn't stop Cameron Boozer. I think Michigan needs to have somebody step up for them to be a national championship team coming up in March Madness.
Yeah, that's a bold take. However, I couldn't disagree any more with Cody in this situation because I do think, obviously, my number 1 is Michigan. I do think they have that dude. I think Lindenborg is that dude. I know he's not an elite scorer, but he can produce rebounds, assists. He's 6'9". He's lengthy. He's a senior, and I'm telling you right now, those seniors, he's 2 or 3 years older than most of these guys. He's a little bit bigger. He's 240 pounds. He will look at them as like little kids, and I think they're going to do well. I am not picking Michigan to win the national championship, but I do have Michigan at my number 1 now. If you would have rewound this session to before that Duke game, there would be nobody out there, in my opinion, that could argue that Michigan wasn't the best team. So in my opinion, when a number 2 or 3, what was Duke ranked last week? 2 or 3?
They were
in the
3.
top 4.
They
Okay.
were 3. It was 1 versus 3.
Yeah.
And then it was 2 versus 4 the other match.
Yeah. When that happens, it doesn't automatically make me think that they just lost it. So that's why I have Michigan at number 1. Not that he's egregious at having him number 2, but I do kind of disagree with that. We shall see. That's going to be a good one. I know Cody's going to let me have it if this dude stinks it up in the Big Ten tournament and stuff like that. But I feel good about it because I know where he's going with number 1, and I think they're going to do exactly that. So what do you think?
When you said this team was number 5, I about fell up out my chair.
I saw you.
I go back and rewind that. I literally lost it. They've been number 1 all year. They were just undefeated a couple weeks ago. Had one of the biggest undefeated streaks. Them in Miami, Ohio. They were undefeated. So yeah, they lost back-to-back games. But that was a Texas Tech team, and that was you try to go into freaking Allen Fieldhouse in Kansas on a Monday night and try to win. This is a little side note. Bill Self is undefeated on Monday night. Like they got a big Monday. He's undefeated, dude.
Good pull, Cody.
And so I don't know what they got. Bill Self's got some juju over there on a Monday night, but Arizona has been a top team. They got the most talent from 1 to 5. They got the most talented team, and right now between those 2 games that they lost, they were out their best freshman in Koa Pete. He's not even playing right now, so they're saving him. He's going to get healthy. He's going to be ready for March Madness, and they beat Florida. They can beat Duke. This is a team that is so good, top to bottom. And if I got to pick a national championship right now, like I said, I'm not. We'll show you our brackets.
Yeah,
we'll definitely go bracket, matchup by matchup in the future. But right now, it's the Arizona. Like I said, I can't believe when he had it at 5. I about fell up out my chair.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, we shall see. Again, if I was doing a power ranking right now, I would have Arizona a little bit higher. But again, number 5 isn't crazy. But I just I don't know. I want to see it. We shall see.
Now, I want to mention this because we're still going a little bit long, but we're having fun with this. I had some teams out of mind. I don't know if that were in your top 10 that are out of mind. Like Virginia. I don't have Virginia in my top 10. Virginia plays all their tough games at home. They got one tough game on the road, and that's coming up this Saturday at Duke. If Virginia, we talked about it in the barbershop, me, Corey, and Weston talked about it. If Virginia, if they lose by 5 in Cameron Indoor, they'll show me guts. They're in my top 10.
Yeah.
They get beat by 12 or 15 or 10, they're out. They don't need to be in there. They don't even need to be in you as a 4 seed. They got right now. The March Madness got them in a 4 seed right now. They don't need to be in there. Also, I didn't have Michigan State in there. Michigan State had a rough stretch recently.
Yes,
they lost to Wisconsin. They lost to Illinois. They had a tough time with Ohio State this past Sunday. I don't think they have that dude on that team. I think they're just, they're not.
No, they don't.
They don't really have.
Team ball,
they play good team ball. I think they'll get out of the first round, but I don't see them as a Sweet 16. If you're in my top 10, you're going to be most likely in the Sweet 16 in my books.
Yeah, and I did. I had Alabama right up there. Louisville. I like Louisville. I think they're going to do well in the ACC tournament. I didn't even consider putting them in the top 10.
Louisville ain't got no biggies.
No,
they ain't got no biggies. Great guards.
No, but I hate to keep beating a dead horse, but they are the oldest team. So I think that plays well. Purdue. I know you left Purdue out. You got to. I'm going to say that I had them in consideration. I actually like Alabama more than Purdue. I tell you, I don't believe in Illinois, and I don't believe in Wisconsin, and I don't believe in Nebraska. Great stories.
I totally agree.
Hope they prove me wrong. I'd have no problem eating those words, but that's kind of where I'm at with that.
Mm-hmm.
So Cody and I pretty much close top 10. I think we had 7 of 10 or 8 of 10.
Oh, yeah.
A little bit different order there. It was kind of cool that we had Florida at 3. So
man, that was
definitely
cool.
Let us know what you think, and then whenever it gets going, if I'm right, let us all know. If Cody's right, don't worry about it. You don't have to comment or anything like that. So, Cody, do you have anything to add before we sign off tonight?
3 big games going in this weekend. Virginia at Duke. That's going to be at noon. And then also we got Kansas versus Arizona. That's and for me, that's number 6 versus number 1 in my power rankings. And so that's going to be a huge test. Also, we're going to see if Kansas can get their lick back. I mean, if Arizona can get their lick back against Kansas, because Arizona, that was their first loss going into Kansas. And so this is going to be in Arizona this Saturday. And then also, 2 teams in my top 10 are playing, I think, around 7 o'clock, 6:30, 7 o'clock, Arkansas versus Florida.
Yeah.
I want to see if Florida wins this game, they dominate. Whoa, watch out. Good Lord. Holy crap. But if it's a closer game, then watch out for Arkansas too, because that shows you how good on offense they are with their point guard, Darius Acuff Jr.
Yeah, definitely good call. And that will kind of separate, at least the Arizona Kansas game and the Duke Virginia game will kind of separate some of our picks. Also, look at Texas Tech playing Iowa State. Texas Tech lost their best player, so they're going to fade back. But let's see how Texas Tech or Iowa State performs, and see if they're back a little bit further to 6 and 8 like Cody have them. So we shall see. Again, let us know what you think about the podcast. Don't forget to get online and get some new gear. We've got hats, shirts, we've got multiple colors and stuff like that. Or you can stop by the barbershop, and don't forget to hit that like button. Cody?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, guys.